I have just bought this slice of V8 flavoured Britishness for £1,000. Now I want to make this my own daily tow vehicle, so it needs a lot of help to be right. And at £1,000, how far wrong can I go? But there is quite a lot to do. Let's start outside with the easy stuff. Fuel flap, the catch is broken, so I've got a new one of those on order already. Near side wing mirror, completely smashed. Common theme on the cars I buy, apparently. Look at the state of this rear quarter. It's been in a fight with a cow, I think. This taillight is full of water. Both sunroofs have been taped up, probably because they leak, but I imagine the motors don't work either. You could grow tomatoes in these headlights. This headliner is saggier than a really saggy thing. In fairness, the old Disco really isn't that bad. Lots of things to do, but pretty typical for a 23-year-old car. The reason this was so cheap is because the rear part of the chassis has rusted out. Now, it's been welded in the past poorly, but it's rusted through again, and that is why this car was only £1,000. I've got a plan to sort it though, and I'll be getting onto that very soon. So basically, this is a 2003 ES spec 4-litre V8 Discovery, so quite a rare thing these days. Now, I know people will say the TD5 is better on fuel. I'm not particularly bothered about fuel economy. Also, diesel is so expensive. Running a petrol V8, it's not much of a difference these days, especially for me and what I want to use this for. You might be thinking, why don't you just use your Hilux and save yourself the heartache? Well, the Disco's a 7-seater, and I quite like the idea of having those extra seats. Also, it's a little bit more luxurious. But beyond all of that, I guess I'm just a massive sucker for punishment, and I want to run an old British V8. So here is the completely standard 4-litre V8. Now I understand these things like to overheat, so I'm gonna have to look into an aftermarket system, see if I can keep this thing cooler and hopefully alive for longer. So if you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know my theory on tyres. If you're ever looking at a car for sale and it's got a good set of matching premium tyres on it, that generally says it's been well cared for. And that's the case with this Disco. It's got a full matching set of Pirelli Scorpion tyres on it. And the one on the back door is brand new still. The ones on the road wheels, they've still got thousands and thousands of miles left. But on top of that, it's got a solid service history. The reason it was as cheap as it was is because of that chassis at the rear, but also this car was part of an estate sale. Now, because I want to restore this car and bring it back to its former glory, the sellers were happy to let me have it for that £1,000 because they knew I wasn't just going to break it for parts. And I will make this as good as I possibly can. You know me, I don't like to send anything to the scrapyard, so I'll do my absolute best for this old Disco and keep it working. So, in true Land Rover fashion, in a couple of days I've had this thing overnight, the rear air suspension has chosen to completely dump. Now, I'm not too fussed about that. I've got 2 new height sensors on the way for this, and in the meantime, I've made the old height sensors work again. So it's all fine, but it's just typical Land Rover stuff. If you're not used to them, you'd be a bit alarmed, but I've had so many old Land Rovers and Range Rovers over the years, it's just not a problem anymore. So although the interior is far from perfect, it's also not the worst one I've ever seen. I'm going to give it a really good clean up, replace what's broken, and just make it a nice place to be again. So I mentioned about my Hilux and why I'm not going to use that and I'm going to use the Disco instead. The elephant in the room here is, of course, my 4-track that I've been restoring for a long time. I know it looks a little bit dusty and sad, and all of you 4-track fans out there are probably tearing your hair out thinking, why on earth are you going to use a blooming Discovery instead of that 4-track? Well, theory being, that's going to be far too nice to use for daily work once it's finished. And we are nearly finished, by the way, so check out my other videos on that if you're unsure. But that's going to basically be a garage queen. Ironic, I know, but I want this to be able to put in a shift, and I'm not going to be fussy about it, so I just want to be nice enough to use. That's why I'm focusing on this right now. That will be getting picked up in an episode coming soon. Also, I know regular viewers of the channel will probably be asking, why don't you just use your TDV8 L322 as your tow vehicle? Well, that car has now become my wife's car. So that's the need for a 4-wheel drive tow vehicle now. Also, part of the reason I chose this finish in white gold, it kind of matches the Ipanema Sand L322. They all look kind of good together, I think. So as I see it, the biggest issue I've got is that chassis rust. Now, I've actually opted to go for a half chassis repair, which means the rear half of the chassis is going to get replaced. That new rear chassis is on its way to me now. Clearly it's not here yet, so I'm going to get on with the next biggest issue as I see it, which is this very unsightly rear quarter. Now, I'm going to try my luck here. I'm going to try and push this dent out and work it as best as I can. But in order to do that, I need to strip a few things off. So while I'm doing that, I think I'll take the rear bumper off, the plastics, etc. A, to give me better access, and B, because I can clean everything up behind it and replace things like that bumper anyway. Also, while I'm down here, I thought I'd take the opportunity to show you the chassis and what I'm dealing with. So this is the rearmost part of the chassis. Now both sides are like this. You can see there's been previous weld repairs and they've rusted again. So that's what's caused it to fail its MOT test. Now I'm sure most people who are used to Discoveries are probably looking at it and thinking, oh, that's not so bad, but I want to tow with this vehicle, I want it to be right, so we're just going to completely replace the back side of this chassis. I think we're about as stripped down as we need to be for me to have a look at sorting this quarter panel out. Something I did want to touch on though, I'm aware that the guys who off-road these Discoveries, they tend to just take the rear bumper off and cut along this body line here, getting rid of this whole lower quarter panel, which would be, in my case at least, a really, really great, easy, quick way to fix this issue. Just cut it out, get rid of it and move on. But I do want this thing to stay looking moderately standard, because I think these Discoveries, regardless of your position and whether you like them or not, you've got to admit, they've got a bit of a cult following and good ones are getting hard to find. So if I can make this a really good one that's not overly modified or changed, when I am eventually finished with it for my own purposes, it should be a nice saleable truck. So that's why I want this to look as standard as possible. So cutting this off, not really an option. Anyway, with all that said, I can now get behind this panel. Although it's quite flimsy because I've removed quite a lot, I'm going to be very, very careful and try and work this dent out. For that, I'm going to put some heat on, so you'll notice an orange light, that's infrared heat, makes the panel nice and warm, warms the paint up, makes it a little bit more flexible, less chance of crazing and cracking and things like that. So, on to the next stage. So this might look quite aggressive. I've got a bit of wood which I'm going to be putting against the painted side of the panel, but chances are I'm going to have to give this a little blow in, I think, because there's a scuff on it anyway, and the chances of me getting this exactly right without any paint being required feels quite unlikely, so I think I'll just go at it as slowly as I can and see where we end up. Okay, so I've tried knocking it out as best as I can. It's come out a little bit, it's still nowhere near where it needs to be. So what I've opted to do, because I'm going to reinstate the rubber strip that goes along here, I've drilled a hole behind where that strip will be, and I've put this receiver in for a slide hammer. I've also fixed the bottom of the quarter back to the bracket where it should have been, but it had rusted out. So refix that, just temporarily for now, but it's nice and strong. So what I'm going to do is slide hammer this out and hope that I can pull the belly that's been created, as well as this crease out. Even if I only get halfway there, it's better than what I've got right now. So that's what this is doing here. So let's see how we get on. Okay, that actually went a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. So what that does mean, the belly on the top here is a lot better. Ignore these ripples because this will be hidden by the strip when I reinstate it. What I really need to figure out now is how to get this lower one out. Ideally, I don't really want to drill this panel here because it will be on show, but I might have to. I'll try one more pull up here maybe. Okay, we're getting there. Clearly this is putting up much more of a fight because I'm not in the apex of the dent, I think. But yeah, we're kind of getting there. And obviously being an alloy, this is stretched rather than when I work with steel. It's kind of got a memory. This is a little bit different, and I am by no means a panel beater or a bodywork expert. So I'm kind of trying to do the best I can with what I've got. But normally when I approach things like this, we end up sort of somewhere close to the line anyway. So this little gadget is sort of meant for more localized dents. In the paintless dent removal world, it's kind of, you stick a pad to the bodywork and you use this tool to pull it out, but obviously the whole paintless thing's gone out the window in this particular case. But what I'm hoping I can do is focus the effort on this belly of this dent here and just get it to give me a little bit more than it currently is. I know that showed on camera, that kind of went all of a sudden there. I've got a feeling though, if I push that, it'll pop straight back in. So I may need to apply some heat to this and try and get some memory back into the panel and hope that I can get it to stay where I want it to. Okay, so definitely not perfect, but I'm kind of happy with what I've got here. Ignore those two holes, they will be covered by the strip, which I'll show you in a minute. And also that bracket, I guess this is a common Discovery thing, but the mounting for both rear quarters mounts to a bracket underneath, just there, and it just rusted through, or corroded through. It didn't rust because it's alloy, but that's just a temporary bit of stainless I put on there just to help me get some strength in the panel while I was working it. But yeah, maybe it's a common fault. Maybe some of you Discovery guys in the comments can let me know if that's a normal thing. I'll come up with a neat solution to keep that tight when I've got this bottom trim ready to go back on. Anyway, the panel, apart from the ripples here, which will be hidden by this piece of trim, I think that should be good enough. Now, obviously I've got to do a bit of paint down here, so I've kept the spots I can't fix low, so I can put a bit of filler in them, and then I'll paint this lower section. So if there is a mismatch in the shade of gold that I've got here, it will be hidden by this piece anyway, and that'll look a lot better. But also, remember, we're going to be at standing height most of the time, so seeing any damage down here is unlikely. Either way, it's 100 times better than it was. So for now, I'm going to call that a job done. Whilst I wait for that new chassis to arrive and also the filler to go off on that quarter panel, you may have noticed in the shots of this car running that the exhaust doesn't sound quite as good as a V8 should, and that is because there's a rust hole halfway down the exhaust bigger than the actual exit of the exhaust. So the plan, I don't want to just repair that, I want to upgrade it. This is a 4-litre V8 and I want it to sound really special. So I'm thinking a stainless exhaust, obviously from the cap back, because I don't want any problems with MOT. But this is where I need your advice. Those of you who've worked on a 4-litre V8 Disco, or to be fair, any 4-litre V8 of this kind, what is the best exhaust system for this vehicle? I've looked and there's so many different options and so many different box delete options. It's all a little bit confusing. So I really need some advice from you guys out there. Which company did you use? Like, what system did you go for? What sounds best? I don't want it to sound antisocial, but I want it to give a real nice V8 growl, especially when it's working, towing, day-to-day things. I mean, you're going to be paying to put the fuel in it, you might as well have the fun of the noise. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what exhaust you think I should go for, and better still, if you know where I can get one, please let me know. So with the repairs now done, I've put some high build primer on there, I've flatted it back, and I'm actually really happy with how that panel's looking now. So of course we're ready for colour. Now then, if you are one of my new viewers and you're kind of new to this channel and you're thinking to yourself, there's no way he's going to spray colour and clear in that open dusty workshop, well, welcome to the show. If you're familiar, you'll enjoy this. But what I will say is this, if you are new and you're thinking, what is he doing in an open workshop, not in a spray booth? It's a small area I'm going to be painting. So judge me on the results, not on the process. I'm not a professional painter, but I've been doing this for a long time. Little touch-ups, little fixes. Just watch, you'll enjoy this. So that's that little quarter panel repair done. Now you will have noticed, of course, I left those 2 holes that I used to pull the panel. Reason being, if this was a steel panel, I'd weld the holes up, no problem. It's not, it's an alloy panel, so I can't weld it up. You could argue, put a load of filler in there and hide the holes, but as they're gonna be behind that black rubber trim, I'm just not bothered about it. They've obviously got paint around the inside of them, so it's not gonna be a corrosion entry point. It'll be fine. You'll also notice a little bit of old adhesive I've left there. Again, not bothered, that's behind the strip. I was really focused on making sure there's no warps and waves in that lower part of the quarter panel. And I think it's come up really nicely. To be a quick, you know, pull, hammer and fill job, it's as good as I could ever expect it to be. So I'm really pleased with that. I'd have liked to have taken all the masking off and put the strip back on and show you what it looks like properly in this video, but I'm gonna give that plenty of time to harden up because I'm gonna leave it flat and polish afterwards and then stick the bits back on. So that'll be in the next episode, you'll see what it finally looks like, but I think you'll agree the repair for a workshop quickie was pretty good. Now, the next thing to talk about is that chassis. It still hasn't arrived. I'm not expecting that for a few days at least. So I think we will draw a line under this episode here, but if you want to see the next phase for this V8 Discovery, what I do to it, what we have to tackle, and there are numerous jobs, as you saw earlier, to tackle and make better, I will be bringing that to you in another episode very soon. So if you've enjoyed this and you're not already subscribed, why not do so? Press the button now, you'll get notified when the new videos go out, and then you'll be able to keep up with the project. But with all that being said, as ever, thank you ever so much for watching, and I will of course catch you on the next one. Cheers.